another video. So if you haven't watched the last video on the Corona, you should probably go and check it out because you're not up to date and it's quite new under here. Go watch the last video. But today, we need to take the subframe out again. Now I've already taken the subframe out once and we had to put it back in. Now it can come back out because if you watched the previous video where we made these lower control arms, I want to take 1.5 inches off this lower bracket. That takes the upper bag up there. And to do that, I need to raise the strut top just here. Technically, I could probably do this in the car, but I also need to put that engine in. So getting the engine and gearbox in this car is easier when you could just put it in from the bottom. So that's what we're gonna do. So first job, strip the subframe down and get it out. I'm gonna do one of those YouTube clicks. There you go, subframe out. This is the bit we're extending. This got to come straight up, about 2 inches, circle pipe, job's a good one. Something like that. Maybe not that tall, but something like that. So obviously I need to make a little circle that's going to go on top of there, weld it on, and obviously it has to have a hole in the top. We're going to mount the struts exactly the same as we mounted the rears, with the stud through the bottom bracket. And then what we're basically going to do is hopefully it clears the control arm when we raise it 2 inches, because that would help. Let's get cracking. My plan is to get subframe done, engine on the subframe, up back into the car, and have that completed by the end of this video. Not running, but by the end of this video. See these here? They're shims. If I add some shims to these, we're going to gain more camber. If I take some out, we're going to gain less camber. So if we need to add any camber, that's where we can do it. Take some shims out if we don't want any more camber. We'll see. Right, so when I was actually looking at doing this, I wasn't really sure how to go about it because there's not really any hard edges on it. This is just like a dome which sort of tapers out. So I wasn't really quite sure the best way to go about it. Obviously this is a hard edge here, but that's not, it's like a D shape. So what I did was I got some ever so slightly oversized pipe, and it is about the same size, but obviously it's going to be one of those where I have to basically just put it over the top of it and then weld it around the edge. And then I'm going to basically measure this edge to the top of this flat edge, which I'm assuming is probably about 1 inch. And then the pipe needs to come up 1 inch from this point. So it'll be like up here somewhere. But to get it straight, I'm going to come with a straight edge upwards like that. And then that should tell us exactly where it needs to be. Even though it is oversized, it should be all right. That's the plan. Clean this up, measure to the top edge, then I'll cut the top off, and then I'll look at getting the top mount over the top, getting a piece that's 2 inches from this edge here. That makes sense? I think it makes sense. Right, we are some steps ahead here. So, what this looks like is a pipe that I've plopped on top of the subframe, and you'd be quite right about this. Basically, I knew it wasn't gonna sit over the top of the smallest bit there, so I cut this to 3 inches length, even though we only need a 2 inch raise. So then I obviously cut into the flat edge both sides, and then we basically got that down as far as it can go, well, as far as we need to go. And then the plan is obviously to weld it along there. I'm going to draw around it so I know where to cut, obviously down there. And yeah, obviously I had to make sure it was in the middle, which it is. The way I can measure if it's straight left to right is by putting a ruler on this side, which is, what is it, 65 mil. 65 mil. And obviously it's straight with the flat edge of the subframe there. So basically, once this is welded on here, I'll cut a slit into this bit, I think. Cut that dome off, because I do believe the arm is gonna hit. We can have a little bit, but not a lot. I'll cut it to like here. Cut this off around here, flatten that in, make sure the arm fits behind here. And then what we will do is obviously weld it all along there, and then put a little top on it so we can have a circle just like that. But I think we need to put the bolts through. Well, they're basically like pins. They're like little D-bolts. If we chuck those through, I'll weld these so they don't spin, because they span when I was getting them out and it was really annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. No going back now. What I'm gonna do is use one of these because it's really good for getting in crevices. Where you can't get a grinder, you can literally just use this little ball-ended die grinder and get all up in there after a little bit of work. A little tip for you. Obviously I drew around it, but I left a bit of a lip on there because it doesn't matter if I cut it all the way down to this edge. If it overlaps, then I've got an easier weld around there. Just cut that edge down so it's not a full circle, and then luckily I've still got this one still assembled. So it goes on and clears the arm. Right, now I need to make a circle and then a replica. New day, new day. Subframe. Oh, I've got a dirty camera. Subframe stripped on the bench. Everything else down there on the floor. I've got this. Got this other bit of pipe, which is perfect to go on the inside of this one. Draw some circles out of here. Drill a hole in that. Put it on there. Top mount. Job's a good one. It looks so random. Proper weird old shape, I'll be honest. But yeah, we got the job done. Just need a lick of paint. Engine can now go on the subframe, and then that can go up in there. These ended up being about 65 mil higher than we started with. So a little bit more than we planned, but it's better to have a little bit more than not enough. Nice. It just looks so weird. Such an awkward looking thing. Just alien, because obviously no one's probably seen this before. It just looks weird. Anyway, let's get it back in the car. This snapped off a couple of months ago in there. And it's like a clean snap. I just put it up to it, and I've got to get that out of there somehow, which is pretty difficult. But I'm going to use a nail. It's quite good to use a nail sometimes. So wish me luck. Well, it didn't work, and I got to drill it out, which is good because I need to check inside there anyway. And there's nothing in there. It's just drilling this out. This is going to be so fun. I can understand. pain. Over an hour later, we have new one. Stressful, can't lie. Now, the great struggle of trying to get it all lined up to these studs here. I didn't put any of the drums or anything on because the steering arm goes underneath here. This subframe does not want to balance at all. And I can just do it up in the car one by one. It'd probably be a lot easier. But yeah, I'm not gonna film this. I'm just gonna show you it in the car because I feel like this is gonna take me some time. Ta-da! Powerhouse mounted. I just gotta get it running. I can already see some things that are wrong. If you haven't watched from the start, this is the engine that came out of it. And this is the engine that looked like it came from the bottom of the sea. And I gave it a lick of paint. This is a runner. That one's blown up. Took all the good bits off that one, put them in here, unopened. It's supposed to be good. So trying to put it together. And I can already see that we need to change that because that doesn't fit. Some parts are better on the old engine, some parts are better on a good engine. And I can see now that not all of them work together. It was a little bit different, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Next video, obviously hoping that this will be running, or the front suspension will be on, finalize that, get the rear end on. Yeah, it's nearly the end of this series, to be honest, because it's very nearly finished, and I'm excited to see the result. But anyway, thank you for watching. See you later.